Hi and welcome to another episode of Delaware County Political News, Meet the Expert. I am your host, Larry DeMarco, and today we are here with Tanner Rouse, candidate for the Pennsylvania 26th Senatorial District. Tanner grew up in Phoenixville as one of 8 siblings before attending the University of Wisconsin-Madison and Fordham University School of Law. Immediately after law school, he became a prosecutor in the Philadelphia DA's office for the past 7 years. He tried hundreds of cases in his time there, including several murder trials in the prestigious Homicide Unit. He now lives with his wife and year-old son in Upper Providence. Tanner, thank you for being a guest on Delaware County Political News.
Larry, thanks so much for having me.
Tanner, you were a homicide DA, but I understand in prosecuting homicides, you know a lot about the opioid crisis in this country. Explain.
Well, Larry, the reality is the homicides don't happen in a vacuum. And what I saw was the effect that the drug trade was having on people's lives, neighborhoods, communities, where this drug trade right now is flourishing. And we have a very serious problem, not only in Philadelphia, but across this country in dealing with the fallout from the opioid epidemic. That manifests itself in a lot of ways. We see neighborhoods torn apart. We see people afraid to go out of their own homes. We see people unable to work due to their addiction and winding up in communities and states of disarray where, through no faults of their own, they are causing and perpetuating this cycle that is going on in these communities. So what we have seen through the opioid trade, in my experience in law enforcement, is a cycle that is growing worse, and it is growing violent, and it is yielding really tragic results, not only for the people in the opioid trade, not only victims of the opioid epidemic, but people that are just trying to go about their lives in the neighborhoods where this illness has really taken hold.
Tanner, do you or the District Attorney's Office view any of the suspects of crimes as victims ever?
Well, I can't speak for the entirety of the District Attorney's Office. Certainly I'm no longer there. But of course, yeah, each and every person that comes through the criminal justice system is an individual. They all have circumstances. They all have things that have gone on in their lives, many of which are reasons that they find themselves there. So absolutely, you can see people that are standing before the court as defendants that are victim of circumstance that have really gone through tragic occurrences in their own life that lead them there. And oftentimes, particularly when it comes to opioids and the opioid crisis, we see people that are struggling with addiction. These people have a disease. These people are stricken with something, and to treat them as anything less than people in need of help is really, in my opinion, counterproductive.
At the Philadelphia Chancellor's Forum with our Attorney General, Josh Shapiro, he was quoted as saying, "We can't arrest our way out of the opioid epidemic because it involves a health care crisis." And I take it that ties into exactly what you were saying there, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I certainly don't want to speak for the Attorney General, but the reality is people that are struggling with addiction are often acting in manners that are outside their own control. The reason drugs are illegal is because they are stronger than the human will. They break good people down. They make good people do bad things. They make strong people weak. What we see is a situation where people are truly ill. We need to recognize that, and we need to start allocating resources that fit that mentality. We are not going to be able to arrest our way out of this. We are not going to be able to incarcerate our way out of this. We need to change the dynamic, and we need to start talking about prison as a necessity in certain instances, but more than that, we need to start talking about treatment as the preferred option, particularly when we're talking about opioids.
Tanner, you volunteered for a youth aid panel which involved diverting juvenile offenders, placing them rather than place them in the criminal justice system programs. Please elaborate on that.
Yeah, Larry, so what that is, and it's a wonderful panel, it's a wonderful program that operates all over the state. And what we do, or what we did, I should say, I was a part of it for, unfortunately, a relatively limited amount of time. My wife, her pregnancy got fairly advanced just as I was getting more and more involved. But in my time there, what we saw was a program that is designed to take juveniles, people 13, 14, 15 years old, that have been arrested for something like a retail theft, something like vandalism. And rather than give them a criminal record, what the judge will do is send them in front of what's called a youth aid panel. I was a member of the panel. There were a couple other people on that panel, one of whom was an attorney, one of whom was a teacher, one of whom was retired. There's no criteria for who can be on these panels. It's just people that want to be involved in their community. And what we do, we would interview the people. We would talk to the juvenile about what had happened, why it had happened, what their interests were, what their goals were. And what we would try to do is put them in a position to pursue those goals. So for instance, we had one child come before us who was interested in photography. One of the members of the panel had a friend who was a professional photographer. So his assignment became, spend 20 hours this month with that photographer on your weekends and find a way to kind of pick up that hobby, but basically trying to get them interested in what they're already interested in, trying to get them a pathway to that hobby and make it a passion and make it a pursuit, and show them that there is more out there. And it was really something that we were all really passionate about and really proud to be a part of. And when those assignments were completed, when people were able to go about doing what it is that they were assigned to do and pursuing these hobbies and interests, we would expunge their record. So it was a wonderful program. I think it's a wonderful program all over the state, and I was proud to be a part of it.
You also volunteered for several neighborhood associations. How do you see law enforcement best working with the community?
Well, there's no question, and one of the things that I'm most proud of in my time at the district attorney's office was our emphasis on a community-based prosecution system. We spent, and I say we, I mean my unit, the people I was working with and for, spent countless hours in the communities we were trying to help. I went to multiple meetings of what's called the PDAC, the Police District Advisory Council, which is nothing more than a group of concerned citizens meeting with community outreach police officers, meeting with lieutenants, sergeants, captains of those police districts, so that they can have these community conversations, so that the police can hear directly from concerned members about what's going on in their communities. In addition to that, as part of this unit that I was in the district attorney's office, we went to multiple prayer vigils, we went to community peace walks, we invested and spent the time getting to know our community. And the results were manifest. I mean, we went out there and people knew us, people saw our faces, people recognized our faces, and I'm very proud of the relationship I had with a lot of people in the North Philadelphia community where I spent a lot of time working. And I know that goes for a lot of people I was working with as well. What you see is the bonds being built up and the trust being built up between law enforcement agencies and the communities they are intended to serve. That's incredibly important. And for too long, we've gotten away from that model and we have frayed those relationships. I'm very proud of the work we did to repair and rebuild those relationships, and I think it's something that should be translated certainly statewide and I would hope nationwide, because I think this is a really successful model.
Tanner, you participated in the historic 2017 local races. Can you share that with us?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to overstate my own role in this. It was small, but it was amazing. I got to, for the last month of that election from October on, I was fortunate enough to be in a position where if Brian or Kevin or Joanne or anybody said, hey, can you help me out, knock doors? My answer was always yes. So I was all over Delaware County. I was in parts of Chester County. We were knocking doors. We were handing out literature at train stations. And it was great. It was wonderful. I got to really spend time with a lot of people, both that were running and that it was an honor to help and to get to know better. It was extraordinary. I'm a huge fan of everyone that was running in this county. But in addition to that, I got to spend a lot of time with people because, you know, when you're handing out literature at a train station or you're knocking on their door, a conversation usually follows. And that was great. You got to really hear from people what they were thinking, what they were caring about in that moment, and what was important to them in each of these races. So I was honored to be able to play a very small part in electing some really great people. And I was honored to be able to spend time with a lot of people in this county talking about what matters.
And now I understand that you have plans for this year. Share that with us.
Yeah, so I am going to be running for state senate, the 26th district, which is made up about 90% of which is in Delaware County and 10% ducks into Chester County very quickly. But yeah, I'm really excited, Larry. I think this is a real opportunity in this county and in this district to change things. We have seen for a very long time the Republican machine operating in a way that serves their own interests, but doesn't serve the people's interests. It does not serve the residents of this district. And I think there's a real, as I said, there's a real opportunity and a real thirst for change. I'm excited to do that. I'm excited to kind of change the political conversation that's been going on out of this district. And I'm excited to represent the people that I just spoke about. You know, you spend time more and more with involved, concerned people, the more hungry you get to do this job, because you realize how many people out there just want a government that is going to work for them, that is going to be transparent with them, that is going to embody their values and their beliefs. And that's really what we're trying to do. And in my opinion, that's what government should always be about. Frankly, right now, I don't think it is. And I think that's something that we can change coming up here in 2018.
Why should voters vote for you?
Well, Larry, we are in a situation right now where our country and our state, I think, is verging down a very dangerous path. And we need to start pushing back, and we need to start fighting back. One of the things that I think I bring to this race and I think I bring to this area is an experience with those fights. I walked into a courtroom every day where I had a defense attorney who was working against me. I had a jury whose job it was to be skeptical of everything I said. That was their oath. That was their inherent duty. I had a judge who just wanted to move things along. I had court staff that just wanted to move things along. I had witnesses that were scared to be there. I had police officers that wanted to go do their job policing. I had to juggle a lot of different balls, and at the end of the day, what I had to do was make sure that all came together and still yielded the right result. For the last 7 years, I have been fighting day and night tirelessly to ensure the right result. That's what it's going to take. You know, we are in a climate where you can't simply hold out your hand and hope for the right result. It's going to take playing the angles. It's going to take fighting for progress. We need to come together. We need to do this together. But I think when we do that, we also need to recognize the challenges that lie ahead. And taking on those challenges is going to take time. It's going to take energy. It's going to take collective action. And it's going to take, at the end of the day, someone that knows how to get it across the finish line. And I really do think I bring that to this table. I think I've been doing that a long time in my career, and I'm really proud of the results, and I'm proud of what I think we can accomplish here in Delaware County.
Tanner, we're going to leave it there, but I want to thank you for being a guest on Delaware County Political News.
Larry, thanks so much for having me.
We have been here with Tanner Rouse, and I am your host, Larry DeMarco. If you like this video, please don't forget to like, follow, share, subscribe, and forward the link to all the contacts on your contact list and Facebook friends. We are signing off. Tune in next time. Bye for now.